Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ask Eman. We're joined by our Shaykh, Wasim Kempson, and myself, I'm your host, Ohi Ahmed, inshallah. So, Shaykh, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well, jazakallah.
How's Ramadan for you so far?
MashaAllah, Ramadan is going very well, alhamdulillah. I'm enjoying the days. Thinking about the ending next week, subhanAllah.
It's gone really quick, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gone really quick,
Yeah,
subhanAllah.
subhanAllah.
So may Allah accept from us all.
Ameen. To think about this time next week could be Eid. It's quite saddening. At the same time, it's exciting as well.
No, that's true. Yeah,
of course,
nothing lasts forever, but it's about making the most of the time that we're in now, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Okay, Sheikh, let's start off with the questions, inshallah. So I've got some questions on WhatsApp. Before I ask the questions, viewers at home, inshallah, you've got your number. You've got the studio line below you on 0203 515 0769. Alternatively, you can use the WhatsApp number, also it's in the graphics below, inshallah. So Sheikh, first question, is it true that using the miswak helps you to say the shahada when you die?
Right, okay. I don't know of any basis for this. We know that the Prophet ﷺ, in the last moments of his life, he asked for a miswak. And Aisha radiallahu anha softened it for the Prophet ﷺ.
Yeah.
But there's no proof to say that using miswak will make saying the shahada any easier at the time of death. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. I have another question, Sheikh. Is it true that if you do ruqyah, you will not be amongst the 70,000 people to enter Jannah without reckoning? Which type of people would these be?
Jayyid. Okay, so this is a hadith which is in both Bukhari and Muslim. There was a conversation actually between two of the tabi'een. They're the students of the companions. And it's a long narration actually, but towards the end of the hadith, they mentioned those people who do not seek any or believe in omens and things like this. So the Prophet ﷺ mentioned 70,000 people who would enter the paradise without any hisab, and their characteristics were that they would not use cauterization. لا يتطيرون, number one, of course, لا يتطيرون is that they don't believe in omens, good and bad luck. They don't believe in that. ولا يكتؤون, that they don't use cauterization when healing wounds. لا يتطيرون ولا يكتؤون. There's four characters. وعلى ربهم يتوكلون, and that they have full trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ولا يسترقون, of course, that's the fourth one. That they don't seek ruqyah. These are the four. Now, some of the ulama have said that based upon this, zahir, or the apparent meaning of the hadith, is that those who then do ask for ruqyah, that they would not be from the 70,000. Okay. However, there are some interpretations in this hadith actually, which are valid interpretations. And it is, if a person does ask for ruqyah, wouldn't necessarily take them out of the 70,000. Actually, what it is talking about is some of the interpretations, and they're valid interpretations, is that those people who do incorrect ruqyah, that they seek ruqyah from people in an incorrect way. Okay. So, wallahu a'lam, if a person did seek ruqyah from somebody else, we would still hope that, inshallah ta'ala, that the person may still be entered into the 70,000. In fact, the number's more than that, because we know that there is another hadith that the number was increased, that the Prophet ﷺ made dua, that which each of the 70,000, that there is another 70,000. So 70,000 times 70,000, so it's a much, much greater number. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. We actually have a caller on hold, inshallah. If I could take that caller. Assalamu alaikum, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? Assalamu alaikum, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? Assalamu alaikum, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? Sorry, repeat that again. Okay. I think we'll come back to that caller. Okay, we'll try one more time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. The caller that just called, please call back again, inshallah. We'll try again. I think we'll move on to the next question, Sheikh. We've got loads of questions, and you can guess that it's about Laylatul Qadr.
Oh.
So inshallah, so let's start.
inshallah.
How do you know that you have attained Laylatul Qadr?
If you pray every single night in the last 10 nights, you can be sure that you have attained Laylatul Qadr bi-idhnillah.
SubhanAllah. Very simple question, which is, obviously is whether it's Laylatul Qadr or not, it still benefits you, isn't it?
Yeah,
Either
because
way.
the exact night, Allahu A'lam.
Yeah.
We don't know the exact
Yeah.
night. But if a person prays all of the last
Yeah.
10 nights, on the day of Eid, they can say, Alhamdulillah, I prayed
Alhamdulillah.
and I offered some ibadah on Laylatul Qadr. May Allah Azza wa Jalla accept from me.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. Next question. What are shooting stars? Are they angels shooting jinns, or are they jinns flying?
Neither of them, actually. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that they are rujuman lishayateen, that they are what they are. They're not angels for sure, but they hit the shayateen who are trying to listen to what is being said in the heavens. No. So they're not angels hitting anybody, nor are they actual shaitan or devils themselves. But the stars, that they are, the entities what they are, Allahu Alam, maybe it's some form of matter, rock, or whatever the case may be. And they hit shaitan, the shayateen trying to listen about what is being said in the heavens.
SubhanAllah, it's amazing. SubhanAllah. We have a caller, so let's try this one again, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My name is Abid.
MashaAllah.
I'm calling from Brighton. Basically, I'm asking regarding the mortgage.
Mortgage.
Yeah.
Okay, brother, carry on, inshallah.
Is mortgage halal or haram?
What is a mortgage? What's a mortgage? What's a mortgage?
Brother, Shaykh Wasim is asking you what is Shaykh Wasim is asking you what is a mortgage in your eyes.
Basically, the mortgage is when you're getting a mortgage and want to buy a house.
So you borrow money from the bank?
Yeah, borrow money from the bank. You know, Al Rayan Bank in London.
Okay.
Islamic mortgage, you know.
Jazakallah khair, brother. We'll get Shaykh Wasim to answer that question. Jazakallah khair. And I'm sure in terms of mortgages, there are other banks that supply mortgages, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. So Shaykh Wasim, would you like to...
Okay, so what I'd say regarding mortgages is that it's a very broad question, okay? Because there are so many different types of mortgage. So what I would suggest is that if the brother has looked into the matter and that he's had contact with any bank, that he brings that to a person of knowledge. The person of knowledge can study the contract that's been given to him, and then a ruling can be given to him, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah. Jazakallah, Shaykh. Let's move on to the next question then, inshallah. So during, when they're praying Tarawih with the Imam at the masjid, when it's a witr prayer, can the person pray witr with them and then pray tahajjud?
Yeah.
Or is it that they miss the witr and pray after the tahajjud?
Yeah. Okay. So if this particular masjid or the place that you're praying at, that after Tarawih, that they will pray Salat al-Witr. However, you intend to pray Qiyam or you want to pray later. So what you can do, if you ideally, in an ideal situation, you want to make your witr the last prayer.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you can do is, number one, don't leave the Imam before he finishes, because you want to get the reward for the whole night, inshallah ta'ala. So then what you do is that you pray with the Imam, and when he's praying his witr, is that when he finishes the salah, that you can stand up, okay, and you can make it an even amount of rak'at. So you haven't prayed witr inside as such, but you prayed an even number.
So you make the dua with the Imam?
Ma fi mushkila, no problem.
And then you get up after?
Yeah, and then after that you can make one more rak'at to make it an even number.
Yeah.
And then you can pray your tahajjud, then you can make your witr the last prayer later.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair for that. Shaykh, another question. Brushing your teeth in the morning with toothbrush and toothpaste, is this permitted while we're fasting? Would that break the fast?
I was going to say in Islam there.
But I was just about to say it.
But in Islam it's allowed, yes.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. But as for Ramadan, because you have to take care not to eat and drink anything. Okay. The use of miswak, we'll say number one, is permitted.
Yeah.
Now the use of toothbrush, of course, not a problem.
Yeah.
What about the use of toothpaste?
Yeah.
Now, if there's a risk of you swallowing the toothpaste, okay, and swallowing the flavouring and things like that, that's really a grey area. You have to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest is that, okay, it is allowed for you, inshallah ta'ala, but to minimize the amount that you use, okay, and also rinse your mouth more than thoroughly, more than you would usually do, to ensure that there is no remnants of the toothpaste inside your mouth at the end of Allahu Alam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. We have a caller, inshallah, so let's take the caller. Assalamu alaikum, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to yourself
Wa
and
alaikum
the
salam
Shaykh.
wa
Salam.
My name is Hamad Tariq. I'm calling from Birmingham.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you both, mashallah?
Alhamdulillah, doing well.
Jazakallah khair.
Alhamdulillah. I have a couple of questions.
Go on then, brother, inshallah.
First question is that if a female starts her menses whilst fasting, so does that immediately invalidate the fast, or is there any timeline? And the second question is regarding the dyeing of hair using, one is Wasma, which is an indigo colored powder, and the other is
What colored powder?
Tat or Qatan, that is a yumni grass. Is that permitted to use in the hair dye,
Okay.
especially mixed with the henna?
Okay, so hair dye, is it you're talking about?
Yes.
Inshallah. Okay.
Yes, and
Is it halal to use it, are you
basically
saying?
not any hair dye. It's just the Wasma, which is the indigo powder, and Qat or Qatan, which is a yumni grass.
Indian and Yemeni type of powder, you say, brother?
Yes, both
okay.
things. Qat is a yumni leaf powder, whereas the Wasma is called indigo powder, which is kind of a violet kind of.
Okay, well, and what colors do these make cut? What color will it change your hair? What color?
If they are used on their own or in too much quantity, then it may be very close to black. Whereas if they are used in little amounts mixed with henna, they may not go beyond red or brown.
Okay. And what was the first question, brother, if you don't mind me saying? Asking again,
The
please.
first question is, if the female starts the menses whilst she is in the state of fast, does that invalidate the fast immediately, or is there any timeline whether such amount of time has elapsed, the fast may stand, or does it not stand at all?
Jazakallah khair, brother, inshallah. We'll get Shaykh to answer
Jazakallah.
the question.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shaykh.
Yeah.
So should we start off with the hair dye, inshallah?
As you like, yeah. So, in general, it's allowed for you, I'm assuming he's talking on behalf of maybe men, I don't know. But you can dye your hair, it's not a problem. The use of henna can be used to be put in the hair, and depending on how long you leave it in your hair, and depending what you mix it with, it can range from a bright orange colour all the way to a dark brown colour.
Yeah.
Okay. Very dark brown, and all those shades were in between, then mafi bats, that's not a problem, inshallah ta'ala. The issue is really that if it goes black, okay, there's a prohibition of dyeing the hair black. But if it is not black and you want to use these products in your hair, as long as it doesn't cause any harm to you, then it's permitted for you, inshallah ta'ala, as long as he avoids going black.
SubhanAllah. Jazakallah, Shaykh. And the first question in regards to the menses, when she can start her fast after the menses.
Starting the fast after the menses, okay. So if the woman, sister, becomes, her menses stops any time before Fajr, even if it's a minute before Fajr, okay, she hasn't had the ghusl yet, she will fast, not a problem. Sure. The ibarah, or the point that we can say that she can start fasting and then carry on like this, is that she will make a judgment that my monthly cycle has come to an end. Okay, and if this is before Fajr, then she can perform her ghusl after the adhan, it's no problem, and she prays.
So she can start her fast and perform ghusl
shortly
while
after.
She's fasting, isn't it?
Yeah, no problem. Okay. But she do, of course, because the time for Fajr.
Exactly.
Similarly, if a sister, she's fasting, and she's been fasting the whole day, and then 2 minutes before the adhan, let's say her menses started, okay, that would invalidate the fast, and she would have to make that day up, because the menses started.
Jazakallah, Shaykh. We have a caller, inshallah, so we'll take the caller, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. My name is Brother Abu Bakr Noor. I'm calling from Sheffield.
MashaAllah. Brother Abu Bakr Noor. What questions do you have for us today, inshallah?
I had a question in regards to when someone wants to go and propose to a sister. And I was told that when you go to propose to a sister, you are able to request that the sister perhaps removes her hijab and you can see part of her hair, just to boost that, your confidence that she is beautiful to you. My second question is about when you're looking for sister for marriage, is it okay to go and look into their Facebook pictures and their Instagram pictures, such things?
Okay. Jazakallah khair, brother Abu Bakr Noor.
Barakallah.
We'll get Shaykh to answer that question. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shaykh, so the first one, inshallah, can you request, when you're looking into a sister to marry, can you request to see her hair in front of her in the initial meeting, inshallah?
Okay. So the scholars have different interpretations on this issue based upon hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ said to one of the companions when he was wanted to possibly get married to a woman, he said, go to her and go see that what may entice you or encourage you to marry her. So some of the ulama have said that it is allowed for you to not only see the hands and the face, but also it is allowed for you to see the hair, because this is what is which may cause a person to make a decision on the issue.
Yeah.
Okay, because the hair is quite important for some people. So it's allowed for somebody to ask to see another shar'iyya, if you like, you want to call it an Islamic kind of agreement to see her hair and things like that. But you have to bear in mind that this might not necessarily occur in the first meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Because maybe the sister she's not quite comfortable, not sure about who this individual. Maybe I don't want to marry him. Maybe I'm not interested, and she feels, I want to have another meeting, maybe a second meeting. Yeah. So once there's
they've established something.
Once something has been established between them two,
she may feel comfortable.
That's right. Otherwise, maybe the brother's, I don't know how he's behaving, but he's having many meetings, and then every other day he's seeing sisters in his fashion. Maybe that's not right to do. Okay, so
would you advise the brothers, sorry, Shaykh, would you advise the brothers to ask the sister herself to remove her hijab or her wali?
What I would say is that technically it's all fine, but because she may be very shy to do that. She may have not done that in front of a non-mahram before. Yeah. So you may want to say at the beginning to her, is it possible that we could, take things a little bit further and how we see each other today. And then, the message can be, taken to her.
Jazakallah, Shaykh. The next question was, when you are looking into a sister that you want to marry, is it permissible or is it okay to go through her profile on social media websites or anything like that?
So I understand that there are certain social media platforms that by default, because of what they're called, that then people will put their pictures on them. Yeah. But I would say that for sisters, this may sound a little bit out of touch, or may sound this is not what people do. Well, the advice that I try to give is as close to, I believe, to be the Quran and the Sunnah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it is the Quran and Sunnah what should kind of guide and mold the way that people think, not just because this is what people do, then therefore it's acceptable. So I would say is that people should really kind of, especially sisters, the way they display themselves and it's a public arena, need to be very, very careful, very wary. Okay, and if that your page is, if it's a public page, maybe you want to make it a private page. Only those people that that who you've made friends or contacts with, that they're allowed to see your personal and your private
But I
pictures.
think the original question is it okay for the brother to go and just go out there and look for these profiles? I think it's more of an ethical question, or whether it's permissible in Islam.
I can't say it's haram, but but I don't know where that leads people in the future. I don't know how that people then start fishing around for. I'm just looking for somebody now. I'm looking for somebody and you're judging by people what they look like. Yeah.
What about if they've met the sister? I think that's what our brother Abu Bakr Noor was saying. About once you've met the sister and you want to find out more about her.
Right. Well, I don't know how much. How much more you're going to discover by finding out pictures. What the pictures don't tell you.
More about a profile. Maybe the profile is open to the public and you can see what that person is up to. It's not just the brothers snooping on the sisters. The sisters can be snooping on the brothers as well at the same time.
Right.
So, how would you create that balance when you're looking into someone to marry? Because it's quite common now, isn't it? Everyone's got profiles.
What I would say that we're talking about people who allow themselves to be viewed and seen in the first place like this. What I would say is that you shouldn't do that in the first place.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
You should be very, very careful of how people can view your own personal information.
Yeah.
You shouldn't make your personal information public like
Public,
this.
yeah, yeah.
I don't think you
Yeah.
should do that in the first place. So I think that people are going to use social media. You can't
Yeah.
stop people doing that, but there needs to be some form of understandable guidelines of how we're going to interact with social media. So people should, especially sisters, keep themselves private. Don't allow things to be public.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a brother doing things like that, well, you may misinterpret or misunderstand things that have been written or what people are doing. So it's better to meet people. It's better to meet people, to speak to people, to do things properly, and then you can make an informed decision.
Okay, Jazakallah Shaykh for that. I know we spent a bit of time talking about it. I think it's something that's a growing trend that's happening now, inshallah, for our younger generation. So let's move on to the next question. We actually got a caller, inshallah, so let me take that caller, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Wa alaikum assalam. My name is Mahmoud. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Salam
I just wanted to know. I went to an iftar with my friend. It wasn't the iftar or anything. We just went out to eat. But the iftar time at home at my house was different to the place where I opened my fast. I just wanted to know if my fast was invalid or would I have to make it up again.
So what prayer time were you following in the iftari place?
So the masjid that I followed it, my family followed it, I think it was at 30, and the place that I opened it was at 28. I mean, it wasn't far from me.
Okay, sister, have you got another question or is that it?
No, that was my question.
Okay, Jazakallah, sister. We've got another caller, Sheikh, so let's take that caller, inshallah, and then we can answer the question. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I want to keep my name anonymous, please.
Inshallah, no problem.
My first question is, Asad, there's hadith saying that apparently you shouldn't delay it, that you should pray before the sun turns yellow, and that and some of the scholars say that you can only delay it like after the sun turns yellow, like if there's a necessary excuse. Would being really tired be classed as a necessary excuse? Okay. That's one of my questions. My second question is, say you put your alarm on for Fajr, but for some reason you didn't get up non-intentionally, like you were in deep sleep and you didn't get up. So when you get up, you do your istinja and you do wudu, but you can't find any pure clothes. Would you have to wash the impure clothes and make them pure, or would you just have to, or would you be excused and would you be able to pray in those impure clothes?
Okay. And
my third and final question is, does impurity transfer through wetness?
Through the, sorry?
Impurity, does it transfer through wetness? For example, if my hands are wet and I touch a wet, impure cloth, would that impurity transfer to my hands?
Yes. Okay, inshallah. I'll get that, inshallah. I'll ask the Shaykh now, inshallah. Jazakallah khair, sister, for your phone call. Shaykh, we've got 4 questions. Which way should we go first? What would you like to answer first?
As you like.
Sorry?
The ones you can remember.
Right. Okay, let's think about the last one, the impurity and the wetness, inshallah.
Okay. So with regards to impurities, impurities are of 2 types, either dry or wet. Okay. With dry ones, if they touch you and you don't see any remnants of that impurity, okay, then there's not a problem. As for impurities that are wet, so the sister said, if you touch something is wet and it's impure, and you see that, of course, it will transfer to you. Yes. So through wetness and through liquids, then the impurities can be transferred. Yes.
Jazakallah, Shaykh. I think the second question, you're testing me now, isn't it? You think I forgot the questions?
No.
Okay, second question was about, I think I can generalize this, whether you can pray salah with impure clothes and you don't have access to clean clothing.
Yeah. So ordinarily, because this is like almost an exception of the exception, it would be very, Allahu A'lam, to find absolutely no clothing that is clean to wear.
Yeah.
For salah, because as for sisters, they're required to cover more than the man within the salah. Of course, they have to cover their heads, and all that they can show is their face and hands.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the situation of if there are other options within the home.
Yeah.
Maybe you could find other clothes within the home that maybe
like your siblings' clothes.
yeah, siblings' clothes
like
or something like that. Yeah,
but let's say in that severe case that you actually have no like clean clothes, what is the alternative?
Okay, so what do we have here now? We have a clash between offering the salah within its time, and we have a situation where a person who or wearing washing those clothes and then having the clean clothes, what takes precedence, the time or having the clean clothes, both of which are conditions of the prayer.
Okay.
Are they not? They are too, right.
Course, yeah.
So what do we do here? In a situation like this, I'm thinking about a situation like this that may not necessarily be a problem. Because if a person is able to identify the area of najasa or the area of impurity, is to go and simply just wash it.
Yeah.
And it won't take very long. You'll have enough time, inshallah ta'ala, to pray your salah.
Yeah.
So go just wash the area, and then you can use that piece of clothing for your salah.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. We're going to go on a break very shortly. We'll answer the previous two questions that are unanswered, inshallah, after the break. But so to be clear, when you are missing the salah, you can wash your clothes quickly. And should we come back to that after the break? Because I think yeah, after the break,
we can carry on with that,
okay.
inshallah.
Viewers at home, inshallah, we'll come back after the break. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear brothers and sisters at home. Welcome back to Ask Eman. So, we're in the middle of a question, so I'm going to carry on with that question, inshallah. And then hopefully we get some more callers in the meantime. So, Shaykh, as we were talking before the break, I'm going to rephrase the question now. So, I am now driving down the motorway, and Maghrib, it's time to pray Maghrib, for example. Obviously, I find a service stop to pray in, but my clothes are not clean.
Where's the najasa? Where's the impurity?
Perhaps we're using the toilet.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Okay, so then if that's the situation, then you can just go to the bathroom, you can wash that part of the clothing.
Okay, so wash that part of the clothing.
Yeah, inshallah. There's no need to wash the whole thing, just wash the area of the impurity, and then you can pray that, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay, jazakallah for that, Shaykh. So one of the questions the sister asked was praying when the sun is yellow, at its peak.
Yeah.
Inshallah, if you'd like to answer that question.
Okay, so on this issue, some of the scholars, actually majority of the scholars actually, categorize the praying of Salat al-Asr into two.
Yeah.
And there is the earliest time, which is, they say, Waqt al-Fadila, which is the preferred and the time that we should all offer Salat al-Asr. And that is when the sun is very bright in the sky.
Okay,
It's brightest. The moment it starts to turn or soften, the brightness softens on the sun and it becomes a little bit of a yellow color, this is what they call a waqt al-darura. This means that you should only delay Asr until this time, unless there is a reason to do so. Okay, it's disliked to. Okay, the sister mentioned is, for example, if I was extremely tired, is it allowed for me to offer my Salat al-Asr at that particular time? Yes, it is allowed for you. It is allowed for you. But you wouldn't take it as an aada. You wouldn't take it as like a routine or a daily routine that you always delay Salat al-Asr to that time.
Yeah.
So you should always try to pray your salawat in the earliest times to get the maximum reward, inshallah ta'ala. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah, Shaykh. And going back to the original sister, the first caller, sister asked a question about breaking your fast at a different time. If you like to...
Okay, so what I would say, right, with regards to Ramadan and when I start my fast and when I break my fast, it is extremely important. And it is not a matter that I take as something very lightly at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so every morning, before when I hear the adhan of Fajr, I should know when I'm going to start fasting. And in the evening, I know when I'm going to break my fast.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not something where I'm just going through the motions and it's like, well, I don't know when I'm breaking my fast.
Yeah.
I mean, people who are fasting will know when they're going to break their fast.
Okay.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm assuming incorrectly.
But what if it's a case where it's everyone else, you know what time you're breaking your fast? Let's say 9:15, and you're out with your friends at a restaurant, and everyone breaks their fast at 9:13, but you know it's 9:15. Now, in that situation, do you go with the jama with everyone and break your
There's
fast?
a 15-minute difference?
No. They break the fast at 9:13.
Oh, 9:13.
Yeah,
I said 9:30. No. Oh gosh, right. Okay, yeah.
And I think that's what the sister actually was asking. She went out with her friends to break a fast.
Yeah.
And she knows already in her head we're breaking fast at 9:20, from which she's been breaking fast at home.
Yeah.
But at the restaurant, everyone's breaking the fast at 9:18. It's
Right.
like, so what does she do at that situation? Should she follow everyone else in the?
Well, it's a fair situation that you've explained. But I wouldn't break my fast unless I know what is happening at that time is actually correct. Okay. If it's like, I'd ask, where do you get that? Where's this prayer timetable? What's it following? Where's it come from?
Yeah.
Because for the whole of the month, I know that I've been doing this particular timetable.
This particular one, yeah.
If the person done it out of an accident, they didn't know. Okay. Khalas. Afallahu ankum.
Jazakallah.
Allah forgives you, and the fast is valid because you didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Inshallah.
Jazakallah, Shaykh. We've got a few questions on WhatsApp. Let's come out of the Ramadan theme a bit, inshallah. It's a really good question here. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. What would you advise someone suffering from a mental health problem such as social anxiety and it's affecting their daily life?
So, it's a very broad question. I mean, it affects people in so many different ways. And of course, the person should seek medical advice from a professional first and foremost. Okay, it is very important that they get that advice and go through their GP to get a referral from a professional or to a professional, so you can get the help that you need.
Of course.
I mean, from an Islamic point of view,
Yeah.
I mean, you can make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's very important you make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He makes things easy for you, and try to identify those areas of where you're feeling particularly anxious, whether it's going out or doing certain things. Okay. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah, Shaykh. What about missing, if they're going through anxiety, and through that anxiety they miss salah? And what is the ruling on them making up salah, or are they pardoned for missing that salah? What's the...
Well, it really goes back to why that person has not prayed. Why you know? If
they got mental health
yeah,
issues.
okay. I mean, okay.
So
Listen.
they've missed the salah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if a person is feeling down or sad, okay, I mean that wouldn't be a justified reason not to pray.
Right.
I mean, if you're talking about a person who's lost their mind,
Yeah.
Because we know the hadith that the Prophet says that the pen is raised upon three of them, and one of them is the person has lost their, they can't think, they're considered insane. Then of course they're not accountable for that. But if a person knows fully what is going on, then the obligation of prayer is there for them. It is upon them. In fact, I would say is that it is the prayer that, by Allah's permission, is what that will help you, and by leaving the prayer will make your situation worse.
Jazakallah khair. Sheikh, I have a question in regards to universities in the UK and obtaining a student loan. Are they a form of riba even if we don't use the money obtained from the university?
You don't use the money?
Are they a form of riba even if we don't use the money obtained from university? Even if we don't... I think what they're saying is if we use that money to pay for the fees, university fees.
Okay. MashaAllah. You interpret that wording for it to make sense.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Okay.
Wouldn't you say it makes sense?
Well, it makes now as well. It makes sense what you're saying now. Listen, with regards to the student fees, student loan, there are two valid opinions on that. Okay, there is an ijtihad issue whether you view it as when you take the money out or you borrow the money, and it goes increasing over a period of years based on interest rates and whatnot, or is it because it's not a conventional loan? Because they put a lot of conditions to it. Is it seen as, if you want to put it in a word, is it seen as an investment by the government? Okay.
Yeah.
There are two valid opinions on that. My opinion is not going to be the final say on the issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there are valid differences of opinion. For me, the safer view is that you should avoid it. You should try to work and try to make your own money to pay for the fees. May Allah make it easy.
There are a lot of countries around the world where they're as young as 18-year-olds, they're actually working and saving up money to pay for the tuition fees.
Yeah.
And it's not like we have to get that loan, that student loan that people want so they can study. There are other ways.
Of course. I've met many brothers and I know of many sisters who have worked, mashallah, and have paid for their own fees.
Mashallah.
Many of them, if they don't do that, they'll end up, when they graduate, they've got debts of more than 30 or 40,000 pounds.
Yeah. Subhanallah.
Allah make it easy.
Ameen. We actually have a caller, Shaykh, so let's take that, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Wa alaikum salam. My name is Hawa and I am calling from Coventry.
MashaAllah. Sister, would you like to start off with your question?
Yes. I was wondering, if you burn oud, does it break your fast?
Repeat that again, please, sister.
When you're burning oud, does it break your fast?
Jazakallah khair. Have you got another question?
No, that's my only question.
Jazakallah khair. Sheikh, when you're burning oud, does it break your fast?
Yeah. Okay, so what I would say is that I know there are fatwa. What does burning oud? What does that mean? What's what? I know it. I mean, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Maybe some of the viewers are saying, "What's burning oud? What's that about?"
Yeah.
Okay, this is the burning of certain types of wood or incense sticks.
Yeah.
Okay, that you burn around the house and it gets all smoky and it gives a nice scent, a nice smell in the home. Does this break your fast or not? Okay, me a person might think, well, how can that break my fast? I'm not eating and drinking.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the practice of some when using this incense or burning this incense? Is that when they burn it and it gives off these, very nice smell.
Very nice.
Is that they bring it close to themselves and they want to scent their clothes.
Yeah.
Okay, and they end up inhaling quite a lot of it.
Yeah.
Some of the ulama say that a lot of that goes into your jawf.
Yeah.
and therefore could be like, borderline breaking your fast. Okay, so for certain, to be safe, you shouldn't do that. If you're burning the oud, or you're burning these incense sticks or whatever the case may be, don't directly inhale the smoke. Okay. If, however, you're going to burn it within the home, okay, be careful not to try and inhale too much of it. Some of the, you can scent the house. Okay, that's not a problem inside the home, inshallah ta'ala. It's not as though you cannot use it during the day of Ramadan. If it's burnt in the house and it kind of goes into the home, dissipates in the home like that, then that's not a problem, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. I think that did answer her question, inshallah. So we'll move on to the next question on WhatsApp, inshallah. So just a reminder to viewers at home, inshallah, you can post your questions on our WhatsApp group, the numbers on the screen below, or you can alternatively call the studio line, inshallah. So, Shaykh, next question. When a girl reaches puberty, then is it obligatory for her father to pay for her expenses like education or health, etc., etc.?
So, in the UK, I'm assuming this is outside of the UK, because in the UK we have the NHS, which will cover all of our health issues.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah,
that's the first part.
Yeah.
As for education, there's a lot of details missing here. Okay, and I'm questioning as well that this type of question.
Yeah.
Does my father have to pay for my education and health? Does that mean that the person understands that the father's not going to do it for them, or the father's saying no? Maybe there's an issue there. Yeah. So what I would say is that this is outside of the UK, it seems.
It seems like, yeah.
Yeah. Sure. I would say that if the person can go to their local scholar to explain the situation in further detail, then they will get the answer, which will be tailored for their situation. Inshallah. Will make it easy.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh.
But in general, the father is responsible to look after his family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Whatever needs they have, his wife and his children, then the father should go out of his way to help them. Inshallah.
It wouldn't be based on age, would it?
No, it's not based on age. No, it's not based upon age. It's got nothing to do with it. Whatever their needs, regardless of their age, you should be there to support them. Inshallah.
Yeah. Jazakallah, Shaykh. I have another question, Shaykh. It's in regards to reciting Quran. Is it better to memorize Quran or to recite the Quran?
In general?
In general, yeah.
Well,
or even
I would assume
during Ramadan. This is a Ramadan-related question.
Okay.
Where we're advised to read as much Quran as you can.
Yeah.
Now, would it be better to memorize Quran?
Yeah.
Spend more time memorizing rather than reciting?
Well, if we look at it, that during your memorizing process, you will have to recite, won't you?
Yeah.
So,
I think people always have that desire to complete the khatam at least once in Ramadan, and they may fail to do that if they memorize it.
Right.
So
okay.
sometimes they're stuck.
So we could rephrase the question like this: is it better for me to focus maybe on a small portion of the Quran and try to, because it all involves recitation, or is it better for me just to go through recitation?
The Quran during Ramadan.
No. Allahu a'lam. Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best what is something like that. What is better for you? If it all involves recitation, which in essence is all barakah, is all blessings, is all reward for you, inshallah ta'ala. But if it is, during the month of Ramadan, that, outside of Ramadan, you don't usually do that, then maybe take the advantage or the opportunity in the month of Ramadan to complete the Quran. Why not?
Yeah.
No.
Jazakallah khair. Shaykh, I've got another question on WhatsApp. It's in regards to iftar. What's the sunnah of breaking your fast? What do you eat? What should you eat? What did our Prophet, peace be upon him, eat to break his fast with?
Yeah, so we know that the Prophet ﷺ would eat dates. He ﷺ would also eat cucumber with dates.
Cucumber?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also watermelon with dates at the time of breaking fast. Okay. And also water and milk. These are Okay. When I say water and milk, I don't mean mixing it. I mean, obviously, you've got a glass of water and you have a glass of milk. And these are things which are light on the stomach and very beneficial after a long day of fasting. And then, to go straight into, big, heavy meal there are better ways of returning to food, if you like. And the way that the Prophet ﷺ used to do it is the best way, no doubt. So using dates, water, milk, light foods.
Okay, so are you saying, if I was to eat a light iftar myself, I'll feel really hungry after Tarawih, for example.
Yeah.
I'll need to have a meal.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because my body's used to it or not, or the year we're living in.
What, used to eating?
Yeah. Come on, we all. You can speak for yourself,
Yeah.
Sheikh. But Going back to during the time of the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba, what did we used to eat as a main kind of course and the main nutritions?
So they used to, the type of food that the Arabs used to eat at that time was a very simple food. There were times when they would have meat, they would have maraq, they would have like a soup, which may be extended and cooked with like bones and things like that.
Yeah.
Take it like a soup and things like
Soup,
that.
yeah.
I'm not a specialist on the foods that they used to eat at that time, to be honest with you. But
I think what's happening, a lot of people are now getting into healthy eating.
Healthy eating is good, but I want to mention as well that, the food that they used to eat, so I want to eat that because that's the sunnah.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
There's certain people, they will say, right, you shouldn't eat meat every day because that's not the sunnah.
Sunnah, yeah.
No, you can't say that. I mean, of course, the Prophet ﷺ did not eat meat every day. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But maybe because that was because of the economic situation at the time.
Yeah.
But
exactly,
it doesn't mean that. There may be health aspects that you probably shouldn't eat meat every day.
Yeah.
Maybe the arguments for it or arguments against it.
Yeah.
Again, you should go to a nutritionist concerning those issues.
Yeah.
Okay. But you have to bear in mind that there are certain things which are part of the custom of the people at that time, which is not necessarily something which is incumbent upon us to try and follow.
Jazakallah, Shaykh. I have a question about Laylatul Qadr. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Many people say that the 27th night is the odd night. How accurate is this, and where does this information come from?
Okay. So the Prophet ﷺ was going to inform the companions of when Laylatul Qadr was. And then he was made to forget, actually, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because there was an incident between two companions, and he forgot. And then the Prophet ﷺ said to them that you should look for it in the last 10 nights. And then in another narration, it mentioned ﷺ that you should look for it in the odd last nights, the last 10 nights. So 21, 23, 25, 27, 29. There are some narrations regarding the 27th. One of those being a narration of Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, where he was radiallahu anhuma, quite sure within himself. He was quite sure that it was the 27th. But this is not directly from the Prophet ﷺ. This is his own opinion. Okay? For this reason, some of the scholars that they would say, we believe it's the 27th. But we cannot be sure.
Yeah.
We cannot be sure.
I think there's this aura about that. It is the night, that magical number 27th, and people have made up their mind that this is the night. I think it's really important to share the knowledge that even the scholars are saying that this is not for sure.
Yeah, the majority of the ulama, they have the opinion that we cannot for certain to say what night it is exactly. So we try every single night, inshallah, to get that reward.
Inshallah. We actually have a caller, Shaykh, so let's take that, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. I don't want to give my name.
No problem, sister. If you'd like to carry on, proceed with your question, inshallah.
Yeah, my question is about menstruation. When you're on your period during these last 10 days and you don't want to miss the reward of Laylatul Qadr, can you read the Quran on the phone or tablet? Because I know you can do zikr and make dua, but just to increase more the act of ibadah, can you read the Quran on the phone?
Jazakallah. Have you got another question or is that it?
That's all.
Jazakallah, sister. We'll get Shaykh Wasim to answer that question. Jazakallah.
Okay,
Assalamu alaikum. So, Shaykh, I think you've understood that question, inshallah.
Okay, so what I would say is that, Laylatul Qadr, and we've quite clearly said that we do not know exactly what night it is. If, for whatever reason, and one of the reasons that the sister mentioned, they may not be able to pray due to their monthly cycle, and they don't want to miss out on Laylatul Qadr. What I'd say is that first and foremost, you're not going to miss out on Laylatul Qadr. You miss out if you sleep. If you sleep through the whole night, then you miss out on the reward. But there are so many other things that you can do other than salah. So you can read Quran from your on the application from your phone, not a problem, inshallah ta'ala. Yes, you can. You can also make dhikr, you can also make dua, focusing Allahumma innaka afuwan tuhibbul afwa fa'afu anni. Say this as many times as you can and understand what you are saying, okay? And dua is very, very powerful. Dua is very powerful. And give charity on those nights, okay? Encourage other people to do good on those nights. That's, of course, commanding good, and that's all rewardable. So there are many types of ibadah that you can do so that you can get some of the reward that may occur on that particular night, inshallah ta'ala.
Jazakallah khair. So in essence, it's just, the salah can't be prayed, that's about it. But everything else, you can do the ibadah, you can read the Quran on your phone, iPad, mashallah. It's amazing. Did not know that myself. Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. There's a question on WhatsApp, Shaykh, in regards to completing the Quran with the Imam, whole khatam with the Imam during Tarawih. Is that counted as completing a khatam?
Well, you completed the khatam in terms of, if you went to every night.
Yeah.
I mean, you listened to the whole Quran.
Yeah.
You didn't recite it.
No, but does that count? Is that counted? Is there any?
There's no special reward for you completing Quran in Ramadan in the first place.
Okay.
You have to make that very clear, and then it answers all the questions that are around this issue.
Okay.
Does me listening to it, does that count as a khatam? Or me reciting the whole thing, does that count as a khatam? Okay, if you recited the whole Quran, then that's a khatam, yes, it's a khatam
but
of
not
the Quran.
listening.
Listening is not the same as recitation.
Okay.
It's not the same.
Okay.
But we say that there's nothing from Sunnah to state that you should complete the Quran in Ramadan. You have to do it in Ramadan.
Because we have a lot of people, they go to the same masjids with the same imam, so they can listen to the Quran from the start to the end to gain the reward of completing the khatam. It's really good, of course.
Beautiful.
But is it the same as complete khatam? How important will it be, how detrimental will it be if I missed one day?
No, it's not detrimental at all. Yeah. It's not. I mean, there's no sin upon you. My point is that, if you really want the reward of doing a khatma of the Quran, it's in its recitation. Yeah. That's where you get 10 hasanat for each letter that you recite. A person who listens to the Quran, then you seek reward from that. But idhnillah, you will receive some reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah ta'ala.
With that, we're going to go into our next caller, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Wa alaikum salam. My name is Najma. I'm calling from London.
MashaAllah, sister. You got a question for us?
Yes, I have. I was wondering, if a sister made an intention to fast, but she forgot to take ghusl from her haid before the Fajr time, does that fast count, or does she have to redo it?
Sister, could you repeat that question one more time, please? Jazakallah.
Yeah. If a sister made an intention to fast, but she forgot to take ghusl before Fajr time, so the adhan already went, does she need to redo that fasting, or does it count?
Okay. Jazakallah, sister. Have you got another question?
No, that's it.
Jazakallah, sister. We'll get Shaykh to answer that question. So, Shaykh, if she made the intention, the sister was saying, if she made the intention to fast, but did not do the ghusl before the Fajr Azan, when the fast starts, does that fast still count?
Yeah, it does. If she knows that her menstrual cycle finished before the Adhan of Fajr, then the fast is valid, inshallah. If she performed the ghusl, like a little while after Adhan of Fajr, she fasts, alhamdulillah, it counts for her, no problem, inshallah.
Jazakallah, Shaykh. And with that, we have another caller, inshallah. So let's take that. Assalamu alaikum, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Wa alaikum salam. Yeah, I'm calling from Surrey, inshallah.
MashaAllah, sister. How are you doing? You okay?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Have you got a question for us?
Yes, please, inshallah. First question is regarding the women's monthly menstruation. I have a sister asking me that she's having trouble at the moment where it's lasting longer than normal. So it's lasting about 10 days or so, whereas before it was always 6 days. So I just wondered, is there a ruling with regards to how long you should wait before you can start fasting and praying salah, etc.? That's the first question. Yeah.
When you say, is there a ruling when you can start, can you clarify a bit on that? Inshallah?
Oh, sorry, I mean, is there like a maximum amount of days?
Okay.
Yeah.
Jazakallah khair. Sister, we'll get Shaykh to answer that, inshallah.
Jazakallah.
So, the sister has more questions or not? I thought she said she had more questions. Okay, no problem. So, with hayd, or the Kitab al-Hayd, which is the book of menstruation, it is, it's not a straightforward chapter.
Yeah.
Okay, because women's situations can differ so vastly. And ideally, if sister has a situation where she doesn't know what to do, then if she can speak to somebody one-on-one, okay, and then questions can be posed to her, to find out really, what the situation is. Maybe maybe she gave birth not long ago. There's other situations. Maybe she's on some medicine. Or, there could be many things affecting the situation. But with the information that the sister gave to us, we say that if a sister had a cycle of about 6 or 7 days, and then the next month, for whatever reason, it continued for 10 days, we say as long as that sister still sees it as her menstrual cycle or the discharge, sorry to be a bit blunt about it, but if the discharge is the discharge of menstruation, she will consider it to be her menstruation until she sees the signs of purity, which she will know. Is there a maximum? Yes, I mean, a lot of the ulama, the majority actually say that the maximum, it wouldn't go beyond 15.
15 days.
15 years, half the month. You can't, otherwise that means the sisters, for more than half of her life, is not praying. Okay? So therefore, we say that the maximum is 15. If she ever reached 15, and it's a continuous issue, then maybe we should always have a cut-off point of 15.
So what if the menses is still carrying on after 15?
Then she, nonetheless, if we say, listen, at 15 days, that's it, you perform ghusl and you start praying.
Really?
Yes.
SubhanAllah. Interesting. Shaykh, we're coming towards the end of the show. Jazakallah khair for that. In terms of your the odd night, inshallah, obviously we're coming up to 27th night, inshallah, and Eid
27th night.
27th night of Ramadan.
Is important 27th night, is it?
Oh yeah, the 25th night, sorry, and the 27th night, inshallah. Obviously, we're going to get more callers regarding the odd nights, inshallah. So, inshallah, the audience at home, still stay tuned in. We're back tomorrow, inshallah, at the same time, at 6:45. And I'll speak to you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.